Well, the craziness continues here in day 2 of 2021. I'm Marlon Bowling with you, your tour guide to the ag commodities. And on our journey today, it's taking us through some choppy waters, to say the least. I want to start out by bringing up our soybean prices in this segment here, because they are by far garnering the most attention. And I mentioned earlier in our last half hour that at 9:30 Central Time, they had a big jump. It just kind of came out of nowhere, and it jumped about 23 cents from where it was at that time within about 4 to 5 minutes. And then it sold off. And then a little bit ago, here they go again. And now we have more new highs, more 6.5-year highs. So March soybeans all the way up to 13.73 and a quarter here a little bit ago. And choppiness continuing. Now they're back down to 13.66 and a quarter. I say back down, even though that's still at historic highs here for 6.5 years. So now 13.67 and a quarter. That is up an amazing 54 and a quarter cents today, just today. And you add that on top of what we have been gaining here in the last several sessions. This is really something to behold. We'll find out maybe what's going on here in just a second. Check out the corn market. It's going along for the ride, if nothing else, riding on the coattails here. March corn now 10.5 cents higher at 4.94 and a quarter. Now remember, the high on corn the other night got as high as 4.97 and 3/4. Got close to $5, never quite got there. So we're still about 3 or 3.5 cents away from that. Is the wheat market keeping up or not? Well, let's take a look. Chicago March wheat now 16 3/4 cents higher. We're now at 6.58 3/4 per bushel. That's within 3 cents of its high of the day. Kansas City March now 13.5 higher at 6.13 per bushel. On the spring wheat market today in Minneapolis, we're up 11 cents. We're trading at 6.10 per bushel. That's just a penny off of its high of the day. Cotton market getting in on the act, and look at that, it's close to 80 cents. In fact, May is over 80 cents, but that March at 79.81 cents per pound, that's up 84 points right now. Whoa, Nelly, as Keith Jackson used to say, we have a lot to talk about. We have Brian Hoops on the line. He's with Midwest Market Solutions in Springfield, Missouri. All right, what's your take on this story with the soybeans here, Brian? Any idea what set off the ignition here a little bit ago?
Yeah, I like that Keith Jackson reference, Marlon. That's good. So, about 9:30, soybeans made new highs. They took out Sunday night's highs, and that's what really ignited this market to push higher. There was a lot of buy stops triggered above those old highs, and not a lot of people there waiting to sell. And there was almost like a vacuum that just sucked the bean prices higher until they ran into some sell orders. And I'm not sure where those sell orders are coming from, if that was our cash sales being made by the farmer, or if it's, who's making those sales. And it really doesn't matter. Soybeans are up near those trading limits. I believe they changed those limits to 25 on corn, 40 on wheat, and then soybeans are at 60. So it's down just a little bit. We're almost limit up. And I think that is the reason why we pulled back from that area, is that we were just near limit up and couldn't quite get there. Pulled back here now, but things haven't really changed much in the way of fundamentals from even 24 hours ago, where we saw prices work lower. It's kind of this pattern that the market has been in, where we make big moves on Sunday night and then kind of drift on Monday. Now on Tuesday, we had a huge reversal last week. Remember, last Tuesday, we were up 42 cents on that day alone. This Tuesday is just kind of another day like that, where we're seeing big gains in the soy complex.
Well, it does make one wonder if there was some sale that took place behind the scenes that we don't know about yet. Sometimes that happens, and there's a flurry of activity booking freight and all that stuff. But I don't know, you never find out for a little while. But it does make one wonder what's really behind it here this week. That's a big move. I think we moved about $1 in 3 or 4 days here. We'll come back here in a moment, Brian. We'll take a look at our livestock trade, and we'll see how it's reacting to all this bullishness going on in the grain markets today when we come back. Okay, we'll try and regroup and talk about our livestock trade here with Brian Hoops of Midwest Market Solutions. And let's take a look at our live cattle market activity here. One has to wonder how much it's going to get spooked from the rally in the grains, and the answer is it's not at all. It doesn't even care. Look at this. February live cattle, $2.40 higher at $114.70. That's within 15 cents of its high of the day. So, Brian, here we are looking at prices that are, if I'm doing the math right in my head, $3.35 off of its earlier low this morning. At the same time, you have everything bursting higher in the grains. And the nearbys are leading the charge in the live cattle. This is just something like I have hardly ever seen. January feeders now up $1.60 at 136.55. That's within a dime of its high of the day. March up $1.40 at 137.42. Look where it had the low at 134.85. So we're off of that by over $2.50. Lean hog trade, well, this is what's going on. We have February down half a dollar now at 70.72 per hundredweight. You have the April contract up 17 cents at 73.80, so it's following through a little bit after the big gains yesterday. But what in the world, Brian? That's pretty impressive. After a very dismal day technically yesterday in the cattle, here you have it rebounding sharply today in the face of strength in the feed grains. How is it doing that?
Yeah, it's a crazy market, Marlon. A lot of these markets are seeing huge moves, just exaggerated moves. And I think we saw that to the downside in the cattle market yesterday. Not a lot of fundamentals to suggest $3 losses in the live cattle. Feeders had over 400-point losses. You could contribute some of that to higher corn prices, but certainly not all of it, I didn't think. And it didn't make a lot of sense we'd be down that hard, but it was a big volume day, and we're seeing just as big a volume, if not more, today on the upside here with the feeder cattle, live cattle moving higher. Cash trade looks to be lower this week after a big drop in the futures yesterday. Show list numbers are 15,000 head larger than a week ago. So all that points to a little bit softer cash trade. But the market here may get a reprieve if we continue to see some buying in the futures market. Maybe that cash can be at least steady this week.
And one more thing here coming up on the screen I wanted to point out. It's another commodity. West Texas crude oil, February now $2.14 higher at 49.76 per barrel after hitting a high of 50.05. I just wanted to throw that in there, just joining the party, I guess, on the bulls today. So anyway, thank you, Brian, for talking with us. Brian Hoops of Midwest Market Solutions in Springfield, Missouri. Tammy, what a day. And John Jenkinson will take a look at how we're following through next half hour.